Liam Rosenior watched on in horror as his 10-man Chelsea side were beaten by rivals Fulham. The new Blues boss saw his side pick up their 7th red card of the season, and 5th in the Premier League, as they fell to defeat at Craven Cottage. Sign up for the Chelsea newsletter. Thank you. Liam Rosenior was sat with Behdad Eghbali watching his new sideCredit, Reuters. Marc Cucurella saw red just 21 minutes into the game against FulhamCredit, Shutterstock Editorial. Marc Cucurella was sent off after 21 minutes for dragging Harry Wilson to the ground when through on goal. Fulham thought they'd bagged an opener just before halftime, when Harry Wilson rolled the ball into the bottom corner, only for it to be denied by VAR for offside in the build-up. Unlike in the reverse fixture though, a disallowed goal won't be Fulham's goal of the month. It's more likely to be the guided header scored by Raul Jimenez after 54 minutes. A slight positive for Rosenior will be a first Chelsea goal scored by Liam Delap, which was enough to at least rescue a point. Read more on Chelsea. With a little more than 10 minutes to play, Wilson finally got the goal he deserved, putting Chelsea to the sword with a half volley into the bottom left corner. The Blues walked away disappointed at Craven Cottage, as they dropped further down the table, now with just 1 win in 9. This is how Sunsport Chelsea reporter Lloyd Canfield rated the players. Robert Sanchez 4. Best free bets and betting sign-up offers. Managed to get a hand to Raul Jimenez's Fulham opener, and perhaps should have been more alert to the threat of Harry Wilson when Chelsea went down to 10 men, opting to stay on his line instead of coming out. Most read in football. Not the finest match of one of Chelsea's most consistent performers this season. Malo Gusto 5. Often played high on the right-hand side in an attempt to support Cole Palmer in the attacking phase. Looked a threat at times in the first half, but went very quiet in the second. Treva Chalobah 3. Has often looked rusty this season when not supported by Wesley Fofana, and looked frustratingly slow in his attempts to get back and support Cucurella before he was sent off. Did make a few good tackles and blocks in the second half, but allowed Raul Jimenez to escape him and head the hosts into the lead after 54 minutes. Chalobah was easily beaten in the air by Raul Jimenez for the opening goal. Credit, Shutterstock Editorial. Tosin Adarabioyo 4. Making his first start for Chelsea since he was ousted from the side by Enzo Maresca for a horror show performance against Leeds, his every move was booed by the Fulham fans, who he used to play for. He received a silly booking for arguing with the referee after Cucurella's red card, and looked generally poor in terms of his defensive work. Marc Cucurella 1. Sent off after 21 minutes for tugging Harry Wilson to the ground, who was battling with him just outside the penalty box. It was a silly error from the Spaniard, who should know better by now, and racked up Chelsea's 5th Premier League red card this season. Is usually such a consistent performer, but he didn't do an awful lot in the time he was on the pitch either. Cucurella became Chelsea's 5th Premier League red card recipient of the season. Credit, AP. Moises Caicedo 6. Was subject to a crunching Sander Berge challenge within the opening minutes of the game, but broke up play well as usual in the Chelsea midfield. Not his finest performance in a Chelsea shirt, but he still looked a cut above most of his colleagues. Andre Santos 6. After a great cameo against Manchester City, Santos was trusted from the start against Fulham tonight. hit the crossbar after 18 minutes following an Enzo Fernandez corner, and looked the most influential of Chelsea's midfield options in front of his old Strasbourg boss. That was until he was hooked after 21 minutes for Raul Jimenez after Cucurella was sent off. Enzo Fernandez, 4, was one of 3 Chelsea players to pick up a yellow card in the aftermath of Marc Cucurella's red. Fernandez struggled to dictate the game in the ways we have seen him do on occasion, as he struggles to find consistency in anything but his attitude. Hooked with half an hour to go and replaced by Reece James, Enzo Fernandez cut a frustrated figure against FulhamCredit, Alamy. Pedro Neto, 5, played very wide on the left for Chelsea, where he is expected to be used more often under Rosenior. Worked hard defensively and made a few good runs forward, but was unable to really create anything meaningful in attacking areas. Cole Palmer, 3. Chelsea's ice-cold star in recent weeks has been a little like starting your car in the bitter cold days we have had in England of late. He struggled to get going with loose touches while playing wide on the right-hand side, in his preferred role away from the number 10 slot. Looked more concerned with nutmegging Fulham players than actually creating attacks, and was petulantly booked after Cucurella's red card. Cole Palmer was full of tricks, but lacked end product credit. Reuters, Liam Delap, 6. Used plenty by Liam Rosenior when they worked together at Hull, Chelsea's number 9 finally bagged his first Premier League goal for the Blues when the ball fell to his left foot after a corner. He struggled for much of the game in the build-up to his goal, but his persistence in battling the Fulham defence and getting in good positions paid off in the end. Delap was perhaps the only bright spark in a dismal Chelsea performance at Craven Cottage. Credit, Getty. Subs: Raul Jimenez, Andre Santos, 21, 6, headed a half-chance over the crossbar from a corner in the second half, and was generally a solid replacement for Marc Cucurella after coming on. Made a few decent forays forward, and was pretty good defensively too. Reece James, Enzo Fernandez, 65, 5. Even without Maresca in charge, James was used as a midfielder, adding some dynamism and composure to the middle of the park for Chelsea. Attempted to block Harry Wilson's winner, but may well have accidentally diverted it further into the bottom corner. Recommended stories: Josh Ikeampong, Malo Gusto, 75, 5. Didn't hugely impact the game in a positive or negative way. João Pedro, Cole Palmer, 75, 5. Didn't hugely impact the game in a positive or negative way.